Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Saturday, April 16th slate of NBA and MLB games. I'm super excited to hop into it. I think I found some plays that I really like. The playoffs are starting, which is obviously one of my favorite times of the entire year. I'm really excited to dive into it. But before we go ahead and do that, I did just want to go ahead and say that at the time of recording this video, we are on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next thing I did want to address is just a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. We have been on a bit of a cold streak. I cannot lie to you guys. And we can do a quick recap here in just a second, but I just feel it. We have to bounce back at some point. This has been a very, very tough, I would say, month. This month has been pretty tough to us, but I think we have to bounce back at some point, and so I think that we are going to. I think we have a pretty good shot at doing so today. I found some plays I really like. Some of them do have a little bit of juice to them, but I really do like these plays, so we're going to go ahead and dive into it. But first, let's do a quick recap as of yesterday. I will let you guys know that at the time of recording this, I am recording it. It's about halftime of the Clippers game. I unfortunately have to get up really early for work tomorrow. And so I am making this video a little bit earlier than what I normally would. But regardless, I will have my editor. It'll be in the, recap card of yesterday. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We did have Trae Young over 29.5 points versus Cleveland. Trae Young started off ice cold, and it wasn't even, it was very ugly to start off the game. But luckily, Trae Young did turn up in the second half, and he ended up hitting this over for us. I think he finished with 33, 35, something along those lines, but he did end up cashing the over for us. And then we had Clippers -4. I will say it's about halftime, and the Clippers are about down by 10, so it's not looking great, but you never know. Then we had the Guardians +1.5 here versus the Giants at -130. That game just didn't work out for us. It was decently close throughout most of the game, but the Guardians really just couldn't get too much going. I think the final score was just a really low-scoring game, so neither team was really going off on the other team, just nothing we could really do there. Then we had our little science experiment. It did fail on day one, but we're going to be running it back, and you guys will see exactly what I mean here in just a minute. But we did have it was the Diamondbacks. We did take their run line at +1.5, and they ended up losing like 10-1. So it was not even close. But we're going to hop back into it today. I'm really excited to dive into it, so let's go ahead and do it. Our first play of the day, we're going to be taking Fred VanVleet. We're taking his under 4.5 rebounds here versus Philadelphia at -145 odds. Now, Fred VanVleet has gone under this exact line in 4 straight games. It kind of just seems like he hasn't really been going for those rebounds, which is perfectly fine. Dude's a scorer. He can facilitate. He doesn't really need to be doing too much on the rebounding end of things. And when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers, in their last 7 games, they have allowed the 11th fewest rebounds per game to opposing point guards. And just overall, as a team, in the last 3 games, they have allowed the 7th fewest rebounds per game. So they've been really good at grabbing those boards, and they haven't let those point guards really get to those loose balls whatsoever. So I think we see a ton of value there. And both these teams are bottom 10 in pace. I don't know the exact number, but I know that they are both bottom 10 in pace. Very slow-paced teams. Shouldn't be a whole bunch of shots going up. So I think it's going to be very tough for Fred VanVleet to be able to grab those rebounds. And if you look at it, I'm not sure how the Raptors are really going to match up versus the 76ers. Like, I don't know who they're going to put on who. But if it does go based purely off position and Fred VanVleet is on James Harden, I do think it does give us a little bit of an advantage, because if you think about it, James Harden does 2 things. He shoots step-back threes, or he drives to the lane and gets fouled. So either way, that's a win in my book, because if he shoots a deep 3, the odds are it's going to have to be a super long rebound for Fred VanVleet to get the rebound, or if he drives in, he's probably going to draw a lot of fouls on Fred VanVleet, which could put him in foul trouble early. So either way, I do think it's a W. So we're going to be taking it. Fred VanVleet under 4.5 rebounds here versus Philadelphia at -145 odds. Our second play of the day, we're going to be taking Jalen Brunson over 20.5 points here versus Utah at -115 odds. Now, if you look at it, for the Mavericks, there was devastating news that just happened. There is not going to be any Luka Doncic in game 1 or game 2 of this series. So it's going to have to be the Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie show. Spencer Dinwiddie's points line jumped all the way up to 20.5, so they are expecting him to have a good game as well. But I'm going to be taking Jalen Brunson in this one. Now, without Luka Doncic in the lineup, Jalen Brunson has covered this exact line in 5 of his last 7 games without him. And in his last 3 versus Utah, even with Luka Doncic, he has still hit the over in 2 of his last 3. And on that 4th game right before that, he did finish right on the hook, right with 20. So he's finished right around this line versus Utah. He's done a really good job of scoring the basketball versus them. So I'm going to be taking advantage of it. And truthfully, I think Jalen Brunson is going to really be the only hope that is going to be able to keep this team or this game any close. Without Luka Doncic, this team is just not really that great. And so hopefully Jalen Brunson can have a big night, keep it close, and be able to cash that over for us. So that's our second play of the day. Jalen Brunson over 20.5 points here versus Utah at minus 115 odds. Now our third play of the day, we're going to be taking D'Angelo Russell over 7.5 assists here versus Memphis at minus 130 odds. Now, if you look at it, he did only have 6 assists last game versus the Clippers. But let's really take a look and see how that game panned out, because he dropped 29 points. Dude was an absolute bucket. And to be fair, Karl-Anthony Towns was awful in that game, and he ended up fouling out. So obviously, D'Angelo Russell had to take more shots. He had to really step up to the plate. And I think that Karl-Anthony Towns should have a bounce back game here versus this Memphis Grizzlies team. So if he does so, I think D'Angelo Russell is going to have to pass the ball more. I don't think he's going to be getting 29 points, truthfully. So I think that we should be able to hit this over in 7.5 assists. And versus Memphis, D'Angelo Russell has covered this exact line in 4 of his last 6 games versus Memphis. Also, this game has a super high over-under. Its over-under is set at 236. So they are expecting a lot of points in this game. And I think that a lot of those can come off of D'Angelo Russell assists. Also, in the last 7 games, the Memphis Grizzlies have allowed the 12th most assists per game to opposing point guards. And both these teams do play at super fast paces. Memphis is 3rd in pace in their last 3, and Minnesota is 6th. So both these teams super fast pace. I think D'Angelo Russell is going to be able to get it done. So we're taking it D'Lo over 7.5 assists here versus Memphis at minus 130 odds. Now, our MLB play of the day, we're going to be taking the Yankees and the Orioles under 9 runs at minus 115 odds. Now, if you look at it from a pitcher perspective, Jameson from the Yankees, he has a 3.6 ERA on his career, so not too bad. It's kind of right in that middle range there. And Tyler Wells, not nearly as great. He does have a 4.8 ERA, but it's still not anything too terrible. If these two averages did pan out, then they would still hit the under. So hopefully they do get some really good pitching going today, and hopefully it does work out for us. And Orioles, this is a pretty crazy stat, but the Orioles have actually gone under in every game besides for 1, and it was a push. So literally they have gone under in literally every single game, or at least got your money back in every single game this entire year, which is absolutely insane to me. And the Yankees, they've actually gone under in 6 of their last 8. So they really haven't been crushing baseballs either. So I think that we see a ton of value here. So we're going to be riding with it. Yankees and the Orioles under 9 runs at minus 115 odds. So we're going back to the experiment here. We're going to be actually taking the exact same game line, the exact same one. We're going to be taking the Arizona Diamondbacks plus 1.5 here versus the Mets. It is a little bit more juice today at minus 145 odds, which I do think is a good sign. I think it's kind of leaning in our favor because the Mets, they have 93% of the bets as of right now, and I know the Mets absolutely crushed them last game. So, like I said, this is not an official play by any stretch of the imagination. This is just an experiment that I'm working on. So we're going to go ahead and test it out for a week, see how it goes, and we're just going to kind of go from there. But 93% of the bets. So let's see how this really pans out. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, I'm on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so make sure that you guys are subbed. I can't really do that without your guys' help. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.